In this module, we'll be writing our first Android application. Yes, you have guessed it right. It's an Hello World application. The objective of this section is to understand the project structure and how to run the mobile app on an emulator and the basics of the program flow. Let's get started. Let me open my Android Studio. So this is the first screen of your Android Studio. So you have to click on Start a new Android Studio project. So you are looking at the first screen of the new project wizard. So I am writing the application name. Android Studio uses this company domain to name the Java package. As you all know, in Java, all the classes are grouped under package names. So here the package name is com.example.helloapp. You have to choose the project location here. Clicking on next, you get the target Android devices. So in this section, you have to mention the minimum SDK. In my case, I'm choosing as Android 5.0. Minimum SDK is nothing but the minimum version in which your application must be supported. This is commonly termed as backward compatibility. To help you choose the backward compatibility, they have given you a distribution graph. I would recommend you to use this graph to target the best version. In case if you're developing your application for wearable devices or TV, you have to check these options. Click on next. In the third screen of the project wizard, you have to choose activities. You can start with no activity or a blank or an empty activity. In this case, I'm choosing an empty activity. Activity refers to a screen in the mobile application. Clicking on next, and I'm getting an activity name. Whenever you create an activity, you generate a .java file and .xml file. So main activity will be the Java file name and activity underscore main will be the XML file name. The XML files are basically used as a layout files to design your user interface. I'll go ahead and click finish. If you look at the wizard, it is now using Gradle as a build system to bundle the project, configure it, compile it, and show the whole project structure to us. Let me navigate to the project section here, and this is how your Android Studio will look after creating a new project. If you could see broadly, the project is classified into three major folders under app. One is the manifest, the second one is the Java, the third one is RES. The manifest folder contains Android manifest.xml file which holds all the permissions configurations pertaining to the app. The Java folder holds all the business logic grouped under Java package names. You could see two different Java package names, one for the actual program and other one is for writing the test cases. The RES folder contains different subfolders, especially drawable, which is used to store images, layout, which is used to create the graphical user interface, map, where we store icons. So you could see the different launcher icons kept within this folder. The values folder contains subfolders and files which basically groups all the hard-coded values which might be useful in the program. In this case, let me go within the colors.xml. You could see the different hard-coded values which can be used in the program. So going forward, you can use color primary in your program rather than hard coding this value. And similarly, you have all the different strings saved in strings.xml folder. Apart from these major folders like manifest, Java and resources, you have one more folder in your project structure which is Gradle Scripts. Gradle is the current build system Android Studio uses to compile, package and run the application. Here all the scripts pertaining to Gradle are kept in a separate folder called Gradle Scripts. So this is the standard layout of an Android project. So there are different ways of running an Android project. So one way is to click on the app folder here and click on the green triangle right here in the toolbar which tells run app, or you can go ahead and select run and run app in the options menu. Upon clicking on run, I'll get this device chooser window. Here if there are any emulators which are running will be shown in this section here. Since I don't have any emulators, it is blank, so I'm going to click on launch emulator and choose a device here and click OK. So now you can see Android Studio is starting an emulator. We are getting a notification, Gradle invocation finished, 0 errors and 0 warnings. Usually the emulator which comes along with Android Studio is often slow. So that was the reason we installed Genymotion. So you can see the app got launched here. Fantastic. You have created your first app and you have run it. So right now we have understood the project structure and how to run this app on an emulator. But there is one more step to it. Right now we used the default Android virtual device which came along with Android Studio. But guess what? I've already told that it was little slow and we have installed Genymotion for the same. So you have to click this small pink icon here which actually opens a Genymotion device manager window for you. If you're not able to see this device manager window, you have to choose the location of Genymotion in the pop-up which you are getting, and upon which you'll be able to see this window. So the device which we created in Genymotion is displayed here. For those who haven't followed my previous tutorials, I would request you to go to the previous tutorials where I have clearly told how to install Genymotion plugin for Android Studio. So I'm clicking on my device, on start. There are a lot of advanced controls which you could see here, turning on and off the GPS, the camera, volume, the power, and so many different options. To run this app on Genymotion, click on the app folder, click on run, and right now you could see that our Genymotion device has been displayed on running devices. So just click OK, and right now you can see the output on our Genymotion emulator. And here we go, we have our app on our Genymotion emulator. So I'm just clicking on back and going to the launcher, and here you can see the Hello app which we have created. Wonderful. You have learned the two ways of running the mobile application, which is using Genymotion and with the Android virtual device which comes default with Android Studio. To really understand how this program works, let me walk you through the basics. There are two important files which we need to know to understand the project workflow. The one is main_activity.java file and the other one is within the layouts folder activity_main.xml. Now you can see a nice designer window within the Android Studio. You have the palette section here. So the palette section has widgets, layouts, text fields, containers, date and time, and so many other different views. So you can drag and drop any of these components within this canvas which you see here so that you can create wonderful user interfaces. So let me try dragging and dropping a button component and just resizing it. You also see component tree here, so you can really understand how the device screen hierarchy works here. So you have a relative layout. This whole white canvas which you see is a relative layout, under which you have a text view which is the hello world and a button. You can also see that when I click on these in component tree, the corresponding view is getting highlighted in the canvas. So that's how you can really understand how the different components are nested. Coming on to the properties section, so this properties window really talks about all the different properties of the view. View is basically every single component you see here, like medium text is a view, small text is a view, button is a view. Every atomic component in Android is called as a view. So each and every view has certain properties. So if I click on new button, the button has a lot of different properties which you can control and play with, like the hint of the button, and I would say the color of the button, the text of the button. So let me go and change the text of the button as welcome, and you can see right there the text is getting changed to welcome. So these are the different panels within the designer window of Android Studio. One is the palette section, and we have the component tree, and you have the properties. So I have dragged and dropped a simple button component here. So this is how you have to create your user interface. So this is all about activity main.xml. Let me save this and go to the Java file. So somehow you have to call this layout file within your Java file. So let me go to the Java file, and here is the simple program which demonstrates how the Hello World app works. So basically the Java program starts with a package name. So the package name which is here helloapp.example.com is nothing but the one you gave in the project startup wizard, and there are different import statements which is usually the packages imported within the Java program. And here a class starts with an access modifier public, and the class name is main activity. It extends app compat activity. This is the base class which every activity class extends. And remember what an activity is. It is a single screen in a mobile application. When you extend app compat activity, you have to override certain methods. The one important method is onCreate, which is not returning anything, but it is actually doing the magic here. This onCreate bundle saved instance state. This particular method calls a very special method called setContentView. This function, what it does is it goes to the resources. Right here you could see to the left in your project explorer, it goes to the res folder, and it goes to the layout, which is the layout folder here, and it calls activity underscore main, which is the file XML file we were designing and we were talking about. So this is how exactly the set content view resolves and binds this UI which we have developed in the XML file, and that's how you get the output. So I'm going to erase this program just for the sake of understanding, and I'm going to retype it so that you are able to follow the flow. So accept the package name. We hope everyone understands this. There is only one line here which is the package name. So I'm going ahead and creating public class main activity. The reason I'm creating main activity is always in Java the class name should be similar to the file name here, and I will tell you why in the later classes, right? So we are going to extend this to app compat activity. The moment you can see, once you have extended it, IDE automatically imports the corresponding package, so you don't want to go ahead and type that. So with extending app compat activity, I should also override the onCreate method. So let me override the onCreate method, and here the onCreate method is calling the parent base class constructor, which is super.onCreate. It's going to call the app compat activities constructor methods. So after this, I'm going to call a special function called setContentView. This method pulls the layout file and publishes it to the screen of the mobile device. So we have to access it via R, which is the resources dot layout, because it is categorized as layout, and the IDE clearly shows us that there is one activity which is activity underscore main. I'm choosing it, and this is how the old program works. It is a simple one method which is getting called when you execute this program, and this method in turn calls setContentView, and this setContentView is passed with the resources.layout.activity underscore main. So what happens in the setContentView exactly is the activity underscore main, all the components which you have designed in this designer view. If you could go to the text tab, you could see a whole lot of XML got generated out of this, and all these XMLs will be transpiled into Java code. So this is what exactly happening, and that's how all the XML is getting converted into Java, and finally you're executing a Java program and getting an output.